Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of StarSound Speaks. This is your host, Irlianna Samsara, with episode 182. So for your weekly Astro for the week of Sunday, July 24th until Saturday, July 30th. Okay, so we've got some interesting little fun stuff this week. It's Leo season and the new moon is coming on Thursday. But before I get into that, we'll talk about those few days leading up to that. Okay, of course I'm very excited. It's Leo season. This is my birthday year, right? This is this is the Leo season. It's all, regardless of where your sun is, Leo season. It's all about the hair. So, by the way, to really dig deep into the Leo archetype, I recorded a wonderful session with, yay, my astrologer cohort, Rachel Middleton, on the Leo archetype. So have a look at that. And I think you'll enjoy it. I've got some really funny stories in there. We both have a blast there, and I hope you will enjoy it. Anyway, back to this week. So starting Sunday into Tuesday, the 26th, we're going to have Mercury, by the way, is in the sign of Leo. And that's and I did a whole podcast episode on that, planets and profile. You can catch that too. But anyway, Mercury is going to be, which of course the planet of communication and ideas and beliefs and the way in which we network. In the sign of Leo, it's this exuberant, joyful, creative, bold self-expression really comes to the fore. Whereas Mercury in Cancer, where this previous sign, it expresses more through emotions and sweetness and kind of warm, the need to have warm fuzzy networking and connections, and our relations with our siblings and cousins and in-laws and people like that, neighbors. It's all Mercury, as well as our writing and our speaking and listening. It took more of a Cancerian feel. Now in the sign of Leo, it's bold, it's bright, literally, right? Ruled by the sun. And it's like, okay, I've come out of the womb and now I'm emerged. And it's like, tada, right? That's a Leo. There's the Leo way. And put your heart on your sleeve, share your heart, be bold and joyful, and be like that big kid. Well, that's great. And this week we're going to have three Mars as Mercury kind of, has his fun, and the Mercury trickster, right, bounces around, exploring what it's like to be this individuated soul in Leo. He's going to have some a little bit of friction, but nothing to get freaked out around. There's three. It's going to come into a square with Mars on Tuesday. And then later in the week, Thursday, it's going to square Uranus. So first Mars, then Uranus, and then on Saturday, to close out the week, Saturday, peaking early Sunday morning, it's going to be opposing Saturn. So it's almost, I think about like the little dog, like that cute little circus dog, maybe like a Chihuahua or something, that in the circus, and he's running around and he has to go through those like obstacle, like jumping through those hoops, like obstacles, like ding, 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 right? So it's the first one that's holding that hoop is Mars, and the second one is Uranus, and each one, of course, and then the opposition with Saturn, right, by the end of the week. So what does that look like, or what does that mean? Well, Mercury in Leo wants to fully express our creativity, our talents, our connections, our childlike self with children, literally with children, with our creative projects. And so when it squares Mars, especially Mars in Taurus, Mars is going to say like, okay, it's this energy of these planets are all in Taurus, so it's an overcoming square. So it's like, slow down, Poppy, right? Mars is like, look, I normally like to jump and be impulsive, but I'm in the sign of Taurus, so I'm just taking things slow and patient, and I'm being stable and reliable and grounded. So hint, hint, not that we don't want you to be great and express yourself ebulliently, but just a little, they're all like, we are your friends and we want the best for you, and so we're going to offer where we're at right now, and take this as coaching, right? And so don't be offended, as you run into some roadblocks this week or feel a little bit, Mercury is a fast moving thing. So take the lesson embrace it, move forward and know that you're stronger for it. So I would say with Mercury square Mars, it would be like, we think about Mercury problem solving. So, creative solutions to problem solving, you want to think of it in terms of some practical, stable action with our creative problem solving. That big kid energy, that big kid that is Mars is kind of saying, okay, good to be in that direction, but just be patient, be reliable. Don't be like a childish person. You can be childlike, the Leo archetype, childlike over childish. The shadow is childish, right? Little brat. Well, no, I mean, let's maintain our sweetness and our innocence, but we don't have to be that, with that egoic, childish Leo shadow, right? So that's Mercury square Mars. And then Thursday, Mercury is going to square Uranus. Of course, Mars is getting very close to Uranus. So this is very much in the mix, that Uranus, the change maker, the one who stirs things up and throws that picnic cloth in with all the china on it, right, in Taurus. Sometimes it takes some shaking up, wake up, break up, shake up in order to effect change, and a change in values and a change in how we connect with others. So again, it's inviting Mercury, on our ideas and that part of ourselves to say, hey, incorporate and take on and don't feel conflicted by, but use this square, use that friction, like the matchstick to the match cover, use that friction to create something new and ingenious and inventive with Uranus in that square. So sudden insights, maybe some challenges, see that as something beneficial. Use your original thinking, and creating something beautiful that is unique and something very innovative and from the future, thinking about the resources of others, like our beautiful fragile planet, so these are places to think. And then when it comes into the opposition on Saturday with Mercury in opposition to Saturn, Saturn is whenever there's an opposition, you always look at what signs these planets are in. So Mercury is not in its home sign of Leo, right? But Saturn is. Saturn's in domicile, Saturn has been in its own sign, rules Capricorn Aquarius, for the last, what was that? When did it go in? 2019? Saturn went into Capricorn. For like 5 years, we've been having Saturn in domicile. Those are really strong lessons, right? Would anyone agree with me? These last 5 years have been challenging. No. Oh, hell no. No. Yes. Here's the deal. Saturn is going to be in its sign of Aquarius. So it's a future oriented. It's looking at the foundations of ourself, our reality check, our responsibilities, in terms of building a better us and a better society, I would say cleaning up our act and coming into integrity for the benefit of all. Well, Saturn at that 22 degrees, and it's retrograde, so we're reviewing, what is this ideal society that we want? Let's these next few months, it's like we're in the ideal way in which we want to organize our lives. What's the ideal, and what needs to be tweaked and put in if it hasn't already, or just changed or reflected upon in order to, improve and be better. But Saturn is at it's 22 degrees. And that is considered a critical, that's considered a critical degree in astrology. 22 degrees of fixed signs. So that would be Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus. Saturn in Aquarius, 22 degrees. Some people say it's like this kind of, I'll say, make it or break it. And, or as a New Yorker would say, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? We're in this confront. The creative mind of Mercury, the one who wants to connect and express ebullient, outrageous, a bold, courageous statements, heart-driven, standing strong. Leo rules the spine, so it's like getting a spine for how we speak and listen to others, and being firm in one's power. And it's, in that opposition with Saturn, it's like, okay, there's this clash of heads, like this test of will. literally, right? Leo, will, and Saturn is like, well, what's best? What's best for everyone? Saturn's got the upper hand, guys. He's in domicile, right? So the one in domicile is if there is one, and in this case it is, they've got the upper hand. So what's going to win out? It's not like Saturn saying, no, 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 don't be creative and don't, no, it's not about shutting down Mercury. It's actually, I am your friend, right? I always tell people in session, you know, Saturn is my friend. It's your mantra. I know you're in a Saturn transit and it sucks and you feel horrible and you feel pressure, right? But pressure creates diamonds. So this weekend, you'll really feel that pressure creating diamonds. Saturn wants you to be a diamond. He wants that, you know, novel written or whatever, you know, he wants that speech wonderful and perfect. So he's applying pressure to say, come on, let's bring out the best of you. Let's chisel this and bring it into something mature and reliable and thinking long-term, making a deep commitment to, say, one's writing or relations with our siblings, our neighbors, and our local community. You know, like let's get serious about it. I would say too, you know, it's going to take patience and discipline and hard work, but again, it's not to shut down, it's actually to bring more of it, because that pressure is actually going to, it'll enable a powerful container, a foundation that will be long lasting. And that's what Saturn wants. It wants our work in the world, our creative work, to be out there. But with that, it's going to take dedication, it's going to take focus, it's going to take discipline, it's going to take integrity and time management. Saturn rules time, right? Don't you love it? So that's what we're going to be feeling toward the end of the week. And again, lessons to be learned. And taking that coaching from Mars, Uranus, and Saturn, jumping through those hoops like the little dog, where it will all come out the better. Then Thursday is the other thing I want to say is, of course, we got the new moon in Leo. It's going to be 5 degrees, 38 minutes. And that is at 1:55 p.m. Eastern time. So just for your time zone, Thursday, the 28th of July. And then as that happens, like 2.5 hours later, roughly, Jupiter, which is at this stationing retrograde point, 8 degrees, right? The last several weeks, right? Slowed down, 8 degrees. Now it'll go retrograde. 2.5 hours after the full moon, literally, Jupiter will start its process, its beautiful 4-month journey through the sign of Aries back into Pisces, which is going to be crossing in, what is it, October? October 28th, it'll cross back into Pisces, and then it'll turn around and it'll station direct at around Thanksgiving at 28 degrees Pisces. And then it'll go forward and it'll enter right before Christmas, around December 20th, it'll enter into 0 Aries. So, you know, I'm going to make a separate video about that and the journey and things to consider and, you know, how we can best use this retrograde. But anyway, yes, it's a big deal. It's going to be, it basically zipped through the sign of Pisces back in, what was it? When did it go into Pisces? Gosh, late December, was it? And it just zoomed, and then it finally zipped right through, went right into Aries, and then it stopped and it's like, wait a minute, I just need to go back and reflect. And so it's doing that right now. It's like one and only retrograde, zoom, zoom, and then it'll be done. And then in December, it'll be going through Aries, you know, for the rest of the year into next year. So anyway, so that is, yeah, it's an exciting week with the new moon and Jupiter going retrograde. And yeah, so the new moon, let me just let's talk about the new moon. So here's the screen for the new moon for the city of Washington, DC. As we can see here, 5 degrees, 38 minutes. It's conjunct the Ceres. This is the asteroid Ceres, which is this goddess planet in which rules, you know, our food, our food supply, our nurturing agriculture, you know, how do we nurture ourselves? when it enters the sign of Leo? Well, we nurture our children, we nurture our light, we nurture our vitality. You know, where are we not getting, where's our vitality not getting nurtured? Well, this is where we get to see it clearly. It is under the beams of the sun, right? You know, it's only 3 degrees, so it's considered combust, which means it may not be easy in this new moon cycle to see clearly what, until it passes, and it passes pretty quickly, but until it passes out from the other side of the beams of the sun, it may be a little difficult. It's like it's overwhelmed by the light of the sun. Like if you were standing next to Meryl Streep on the red carpet, you know, you're overwhelmed by her presence, unless you're not a Meryl Streep fan, in case you're not. But anyway, you get the idea. It's like, so it'll take a little bit to perhaps to see that clearly as it emerges through the sign. So as it excuse me, hard second. As it moves through the sign of Leo. Okay, so that's the new moon, and as you can see here, not by degree, but just in energy, we've got this Saturn opposition. The moon later in the month, in August, the sun is going to be completely opposed Saturn, but we'll talk about that when we get to it, what that looks like. But basically, yes, you have it by sign. There is an opposition with Saturn. So again, it's this melding and this working out around the container, for the proper container that is the one that will be suitable, which makes us accountable for our beautiful creative efforts and our creative vital selves. Well, this is a process that we're working out for this particular Leo lunation. But what's really cool, what I really love about this this chart, we've got a nice trine from Jupiter. Jupiter is technically, you know, it's just about station retrograde, but it's still direct for that new moon. So for this cycle, it's making that nice trine with the sun, Jupiter in Aries. So being confident and bold and starting new things and new projects and new ways of, I would say, self-expression. It's lending a hand, a very benefic, right? Jupiter, the greater benefic. It's lending a hand to that creative process, that one where Leo season is the hair, the self, right? But with that trine from Jupiter, it's like saying having faith in our creative and artistic selves, having faith in the creative process, in having fun with it and enjoy, like it's an increase of optimism and confidence and faith and hope to say, you know, you got this. So Jupiter, but then when it goes retrograde, of course, we're going to be looking at how that, you know, let's review, and it'll be like a reflection point for, you know, how we want to achieve that. So that gives a lot of blessings. All right. Now, as you can see here, the squares from, you know, for this new moon, we have Mercury in exact 18 degrees, Mercury and Uranus. So that is going to be so even though it's this week, we feel it strongly, but it is the signature for the new moon. So from now and through the end of August is what we'll feel that squaring off. So it's that Mercury square. You remember that is that little chihuahua jumping, the nervous little Mercury, right? That chihuahua jumping through the hoop. Actually, you know, it's imprinted for this new moon. So, you know, Uranus is wanting that, you know, our connections with others and our full creative potential to be expressed in new and dynamic ways of connecting is going to be a really strong influence throughout the entire new moon cycle. So I think that's about it that I wanted to say for this week. So yes, very exciting, Jupiter retrograde. And anyway, as ever, if you like this content and you enjoy it, please, you know, like, share, subscribe. We always appreciate that. And we are available for, we have a new bunch of lessons coming up in the fall for astrology for beginners, where we just really hold your hand and walk you through things. So that will be, that's coming up very soon. And yeah, and my work is whole sign houses in Hellenistic, blending Hellenistic traditional astrology and modern psychological. So it's a blend of both for empowering us through these interesting times, right? Really interesting. So that's all I have for today. And I hope that you've enjoyed this content, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much. This is Irlianna Samsara, StarSound Speaks, StarSoundastrology.com. Thank you all for listening. Namaste.